Fans walking into the new ballpark still gather at the Stan Musial statue outside. While inside, they get a look at the present-day version from the right side. In the last 12 home games, the Cardinals have won. Albert Pujols has either put the Cards in the lead or won the game with one swing of the bat. Enter the Arizona Diamondbacks and manager Bob Melvin. His team sitting very close to the top of the NL West. Will he figure out a way to tame number 5, or will it be the Diamondbacks that get bitten? It's the D-backs and Cards in the house that Pujols is building. Next on FSN Midwest. Welcome to a windy and rather pretty night in downtown St. Louis. First of a 3-game set, the Cardinals and the Arizona Diamondbacks tonight as the Cardinals try to continue their winning ways. We flash back to Tuesday working on the side prior to his start tonight. Mark Mulder working on mechanics out in the Cardinal bullpen. And now welcome to our set, everybody. I'm Joe Buck along with Al Roboski. So the $64,000 question is, what were they going over mechanics-wise with Mulder in the pen on Tuesday?
Stay back, sit back on that back leg a little bit. Recently, he's been letting his front shoulder fly open, getting out in front. Then you're trying to catch up. Your arm is dragging. That produces a ball up and away to a right-handed batter, and that's not what Mark wants to do. He wants to keep that sinker down, have command of that good breaking ball, but for the most part, keep everything down.
The other question is, who are these Diamondbacks? If you hadn't paid a lot of attention to where they sit in the National League West, right now they're number 2 in the division. They're off to a good start with the bats, and surprisingly, their ERA is better than anybody would have thought it would be.
And they're playing much better than their start. They've won 11 of their last 15 ball games. They feel pretty good about this ball club. It's starting to gel, and really, as you said, the pitching staff is doing a nice job for them. And tonight's starter, one of those surprises, Juan Cruz, kind of a lanky little right-hander with a very, very live arm, and he's got a great slider.
Cardinals are very familiar with Cruz from his days with the Chicago Cubs. When we come back, we'll talk about the importance of the guy hitting in front of the guy in the number 2 spot in front of Albert Pujols. Tonight, that man, John Rodriguez, back to talk about it on the other side of the break. It is a windy, cool night in downtown St. Louis, and getting ready for the first of a 3-game set with Arizona. Mark Mulder, Juan Cruz, Cardinals, and Diamondbacks. Talk about the importance of the guy in the number 2 spot, the man hitting in front of Albert Pujols, and you have to look at Encarnacion and that average. That's dragged the overall average down.
It's dragged it down, and remember, he only has 1 walk, and it's critical, maybe not so much the batting average, but the on-base percentage to get on base ahead of Albert.
Make them pitch to Albert Pujols. That's our Ford Dealers key matchup before the Cardinals and Diamondbacks. When we come back, Dan talks injuries before the Cards and the D-backs right after this.
The great Lou Brock in attendance tonight as the Cardinals take on the Diamondbacks. Game 1 of this 3-game weekend series from Busch Stadium. Mark Mulder going for St. Louis now with 100 wins under his belt after his last time out against the Florida Marlins. And Juan Cruz, the former Cub, going tonight for the Diamondbacks. There's other news, though, around Major League Baseball and a couple of real key injuries. We start in the National League. If you haven't seen this catch, take a close look. Unbelievable play by Aaron Rowan of the Philadelphia Phillies in center field. The former White Sox going all out. He breaks his nose on that play, spent the night in the hospital. It's not expected to be serious. Meanwhile, in the American League, Hideki Matsui of the New York Yankees, and this is a huge loss for New York. He attempts to make a sliding catch out and left. He breaks his wrist. This is a guy that is so reliable for Joe Torre. Night in and night out, he is in that lineup. Now he is going to miss at least 3 months, according to Joe Torre, following the game. We've got baseball here tonight in downtown St. Louis. It is the Cardinals and the Diamondbacks. Game 1 is coming up on FS.
Looked at the weather report early in the week. You thought this week was going to be a washout. So far, so good. There were some nasty days against Colorado, but Cardinals and Rockies got through them. And now here tonight, it's a very pleasant night down here. Take a look at the lineup for the Diamondbacks. Brought to you by Southwest Airlines. It's Eric Burns leading off. He's the center fielder. Damian Easley batting the number 2 spot. Chad Tracy is the third baseman. Luis Gonzalez in left. Connor Jackson at first. Sean Green is in right field. Orlando Hudson is at second. Chris Snyder is the catcher. And Juan Cruz, long time with the Chicago Cubs, at least a couple of years. And then last, Cardinals saw him, was with the Atlanta Braves, is on the mound. Here's the Cardinals half of the Advanced Auto Parts pitching matchup. It's Mark Mulder, the lefty, with a record of 3-1.
3-1, and the ball club has only lost one of his 7 starts to date. How about his 3rd career appearance against the Diamondbacks? He's posted complete game shutouts in the prior 2 against Arizona. He won 5-0 last year, allowing just 5 hits. He's yet to allow a run in 18 career innings against Arizona, and the time before pitching for Oakland, he threw a 1-hitter through 7 innings until Batista stroked a single and ended up only allowing 1 hit.
Take a look at the defense. We go around the horn. It's brought to you by Auto Tire, and we highlight David Eckstein. It's been a while since I've done a game with you. You've had 3 surgeries since I last saw you. What's wrong with you? Rodriguez, Edmonds, and Encarnacion. They line up in the outfield, and there's a new addition to this ballpark out in left field.
I like that.
That's a good look out there on the wall in left. First up is Eric Burns, and our first pitch of the night is up and away from Mark Mulder. It will be Burns, Easley, and Tracy. That's up and away, but a called strike. And the home plate umpire talks to Burns. I don't know if he called it on the pitch or on that check swing. It's Marvin Hudson behind the plate.
Eric Burns, kind of real high energy kind of guy, just always hustling.
Chop to Roland, backs up a bit. 1 out. 65 degrees here tonight. And you look at the effort that Mulder had against the Marlins. He got off to a great start, got out to a big lead. It started to slip away, and the bullpen had to hang on.
And finally, congratulations on his 100th career win.
Thought it was going to happen a couple of starts ago.
Or even last year. He had a few taken away.
With 1 out, nobody on. Here's Damian Easley, and a guy who we typically see at second base is playing shortstop tonight. The number 2 hitter in this lineup, and he took low for ball 1. It's Easley now. It's Chad Tracy on deck. Gonzalez, a cleanup hitter. And this is an Arizona team that, as Al mentioned in our open, is a very hot club. They come in number 2 in the NL West, a half game behind Colorado. I think anybody pick either one of those 2 teams to be at the top after a month of play in the NL West, but that's where they are. 1 ball, 1 strike. That's low. 2 balls and a strike. Bob Melvin has his club right now off to a fast start. And they've won 11 of 15. They got off to a terrible beginning, 8-11. They've won 8 of their last 10, so they roll into here with a lot of confidence. 2 balls and a strike on Easley, the number 2 batter. And it's now 3-1. So we talked a moment ago, Al, about the mechanics and about what they were working on with Mark Mulder throwing on the side on Tuesday. And we will see if that extra work and the tutorial that Dave Duncan gave him pays off. 3-1. Good changeup, full count.
Well, that's it. You know, he has a tendency to rush a little bit, so you got to kind of get him to sit back, allow his arm to catch up, because if that arm is dragging, you produce a lot of balls that are up and away to right-handers.
That's over but low, and a 1-out walk. Seen a few miss up and away to the first 2 batters. It's 1 on, 1 out for Chad Tracy, a guy who hit 27 home runs last year.
He was their Rookie of the Year for Arizona. Hit
Big
308.
left-handed batter.
308, 27 home runs, 72 RBIs.
Off to a good start now with a .316 average, 6 home runs, 23 RBIs. 1 on, 1 out. Mulder will check on the runner at first, Easley. And hit the outside part with strike 1.
Mark Mulder already has induced 10 ground ball double plays, and last year he tied for National League lead with 32.
No balls, 1 strike, 1 on, 1 out, and a tap foul right at the plate, 0-2. Cardinals take on the right-hander Juan Cruz tonight. Last year the Cardinals were 5-2 against the Diamondbacks. As they entertain these NL West clubs, the Mets will be in town at the beginning of next week. No balls, 2 strikes. Mark Mulder. Long look, and he steps off.
A lot of people think that you can throw harder from a windup, but if you have proper mechanics, it should be exactly the same, because in the windup, everything you're doing is counterproductive.
Easily starts and stops, and Tracy chops it foul.
And what I mean by that is, you know, you're instead of going to plate, you're kind of rocking backwards, you're doing this, you're doing that. But at some point in your windup, you come right where you are right here. Contact with your rubber, you sit down on that back leg and you drive out towards home plate.
On 0-2, and there's a good pitch. He had the hitter Tracy way out in front, rings up his first strikeout of the night. 1 on, 2 down.
Oh, you're absolutely right. What a nice looking curveball. You know, he's 6'6", and so he throw from that high angle and drop down, but got on top of that one with a big break.
Here's Gonzalez, who has had a great career.
And what a great person.
Even does postseason radio work. A guy who is a very good ambassador for the game of baseball, and that almost picked off Pujols and Easley over at first. Easily a late break back to the bag. Gonzalez is a guy that is really as well known for the guys he's been traded for over the years than he is for the numbers that he's put up. But you start looking at his career totals. Here's a guy with 316 career home runs back in 2001. The year they won it all. He hit 57 home runs and drove home 142 runs. His biggest RBI was that little flare that he hit over the head of Derek Jeter to beat the Yankees in Game 7 of the World Series against Mariano Rivera.
Franchise leader in runs, hits, doubles, home runs.
Now Molina has Easley picked off. Easley lost his footing. The run down, and Easley just gives up. Mulder almost got him on 2 consecutive throws over, so Molina thought, why not? I'll just take my shot down at first, and Easley hit the deck coming back. He is out, and we go to the bottom of the first. No. Well, the story at the end of the top of the first, Al, was the mechanics and the throwing arm of Yadier Molina.
Well, he's always aware, and lucky he didn't hit the bat there, but his second pickoff this week, 3rd of the year. Last year he just shocked everyone with 9 pickoffs and just controlling the running game. He is fun to watch.
Take a look at the lineup for the Cardinals tonight, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Eckstein, then Rodriguez and Pujols. Edmonds, Roland, and Encarnacion. See what Roland has done in his career against Arizona. Molina, Miles, and Mark Mulder, the bottom 3. Here is Juan Cruz, and here is the Arizona half of the Rico pitching matchup.
He's coming off a shutout against the Cubs, team that he first signed with.
I'd like you to explain to me how a guy who's 27 years old, at least listed as 27 years old, that's got the arm that Cruz has bounced around with 4 organizations.
Well, and you know, there's Cubs, Atlanta, Oakland, and now Arizona, and picked up towards the end of spring training, but he's just got a live arm. He's never really had that long stint in the rotation, kind of flirting back with the bullpen, even minor leagues.
That's off the glove of Tracy and down the right field line. Eckstein will hold at first as the first baseman. So Tracy, Connor Jackson just got a piece of it, enough to knock it down, and probably took an extra base away from Eckstein with that effort.
The outer half, and you know, the one thing you like about David, he's going to spray the ball around. He just, wherever the ball's pitched, he's not trying to do too much, not afraid to hit with deep in a count. And you even get to the point now, even though, you know, you don't want to be thrown out at second base, but even the mindset, they never want to leave first base open with Albert, in the on-deck circle now.
It really has become, at times, a game within a game. And here's a little floater into center, and this is exactly what you're talking about. Do whatever you can during the course of an inning to force the opposition to pitch to Albert Pujols, and they have to here with 2 on and nobody out. Real quick, we'll give you a look at the defense for the Diamondbacks. We go around the horn. Brought to you by Auto Tire. Out and left, it's Gonzalez. In center, Burns. And right, Sean Green. Tracy at third, Easley at short. Hudson at second. Connor Jackson at first. And Snyder is the young catcher. Here's Albert, 2 on, nobody out.
You say you have to pitch to him, and I agree. But, I mean, it's amazing that some clubs are even considering in the first inning, should we pitch to him? Outfielders all have to play deep.
Cruz hits the outside corner with a 96-mile-an-hour fastball, and already you can see Marvin Hudson, the home plate umpire, has a big zone tonight. Runners in scoring position. That's how Pujols has vaulted himself into the major league lead with his 43 RBIs and his 18 home runs.
Outfield arms, you got to remember Gonzalez had his elbow surgically repaired a couple years ago. Burns, kind of a high energy guy in center. A lot of times we saw him play left, so it might be an indication his arm isn't the strongest. And then you go out there and Sean Green does have a strong arm in right.
Runners on at first and second, nobody out. 1 ball, 1 strike. And the first 3 pitches from Cruz have all been away to Albert Pujols. 2-1.
Well, Albert has just made a living with that left field bleachers, depositing so many of his home runs that he's hit in this ballpark in that area. But he can hit it out any part of the field.
Albert up on the count, 2 balls and a strike, and Hudson trying to get in behind David Eckstein, so Juan Cruz steps off. On deck is Jim Edmonds. Cardinals trying to jump out to a lead for Mark Mulder. He's gone to right twice for a home run, center once, and pulled 15 of his 18. Here's a 2-1. Away, 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 and it's 3 balls and a strike.
So important we talk about it a lot about the man in front of Albert to reach base, so you bring him up. But it appears that, and Albert's talked about it, where he has trust and faith in the man behind him to drive him in if they walk him.
Off the end of the bat, that will give the Cardinals a lead. Eckstein will score from second, going first to third, Rodriguez. Pujols has another RBI, number 44 on the year. And they don't have to all leave the park.
That's right. He's such a good hitter. He leads the major leagues with his home runs at 18, and he adds to his major league lead 44 RBIs right off the end of the bat. But he's such a good hitter. If you pitch him one way, he'll go take those RBIs out there. And good hustling by Eckstein. This is fun to see here in the first inning.
Now Edmonds, still nobody out, 3 straight singles. Nothing really hard hit. Base hit to the right side by Eckstein. Rodriguez floated one to center. Albert into right center there over the head of Orlando Hudson, the second baseman. First and third, and Edmonds trying to launch, gets under one into right. It'll carry for Green back at the wall, and both runners will tag and advance. It's 2-0 Cardinals. Sac fly by Edmonds on a ball that almost carried out of here.
Well, the wind earlier was, we can tell you from our Hewlett Tech sports desk, that a little wind tunnel going out towards right. The flags are pretty limp right now, but that ball just kept on carrying. The Cardinals have a nice 2-run lead on the sac fly, his 24th RBI for Jim Edmonds.
And now Roland. 3 singles, a sac fly to the wall and right. And Roland will dig in, only 1 out. and Albert Pujols down at second base. Cardinals jumping out in front, and Rolen is jammed, fouls it back, and checks his bat to make sure it's still in one piece. Right off the hands on that pitch from Juan Cruz.
Snyder, catcher out to talk to him. Remember, they got Johnny Estrada from the Atlanta Braves. They're fine catchers, so Mulder trying to sit there and think about what he has to do, but in the back of his mind, he knows he's got a couple runs to play with now.
Pujols with a big lead out at second, and there's 96 miles an hour too high for Scott Rolen. The Diamondbacks got this pitcher, Juan Cruz, right at the end of spring training. They traded Brad Halsey, the left-hander, who originally came up with the Yankees to get him. Halsey ends up in Oakland. And now Juan Cruz is in the rotation for the Diamondbacks. That's on the inside corner, 1-2. Cardinals with a 14-5 record in their new park, and off to a good start here tonight. Starting the game a game out behind Cincinnati in the NL Central. Pujols at second, one out, and Rolen a little off balance, pops that one into center. Pujols will draw a throw from the energetic Eric Burns in center, 2 down.
You agree with that assessment, don't you?
He's just a bundle of energy out in center or left or wherever you put him, and there have been plenty of highlight videos of Eric Burns with the Oakland A's. Short time with Colorado and now with Arizona, just flopping around and banging into things, and he's kind of Rex Hudler.
That's my analogy. That was the guy that was coming to my mind.
Here's Encarnacion. Started the season in the number 2 spot. Now he's batting behind Rolen in the 6th position, and he takes a strike. You know, we came on the air and in our open talked about the importance of the number 2 spot in this Cardinal lineup, and the guy who's done the best, at least average-wise, is John Rodriguez. And tonight, after a base hit by Eckstein, Rodriguez gets a hit, set up the inning for Pujols, who floated a base hit. The Cardinals have added another. It's 2-0. Encarnacion in the hole, 0-2.
Well, only has 1 walk, and that's tied for the fewest among Major League Baseball players with at least 30 games played. Francoeur of Atlanta finally got a walk, so he ties Encarnacion.
Pujols and the very outgoing Orlando Hudson wrapping out at second base. Oh, and 2 on Encarnacion. Just sticks the bat out and checks on easily to his left. Encarnacion hustling is beaten by half a step, and the inning is over. Well, the number 2 man so important, hitting in front of Albert Pujols. He set it up. Rodriguez with a big base hit. 2-0 after 1. The bar, tonight's cellular wireless text message question is, in your opinion, what is the best division in baseball? There is no F, so E is the National League or American League West. You get to vote for both if you text letter E. You can text your vote to 42957, and we will give you the results later in the game. Gonzalez, who was at the plate when Easley was picked off first by Molina, is now in the hole, 0-2.
Started with Houston, and remember when he was with Detroit, kind of came over here, but boy, his career took off once he got to Arizona. Franchise leader in every offensive category.
And 0-2 from Mulder. And Gonzalez is doing all he can to wait on these pitches that are slowly getting to the plate. He's got Gonzalez off balance. I said he's known for the guy he was traded for. Remember all the talk about the deal when Kareem Garcia was the man he was traded for to bring him to Arizona. And the second he slipped on a Diamondbacks uniform, his career was totally different. He had some decent years, and then he goes to Arizona, and his home run totals just kept going up. Fastball up and in, the count 2-2.
Good pitch, though. Throwing a lot of curveballs out away from him, then ran that one underneath his hands, hitting him in that real open stance.
And now a full count.
Sinking fastballs, curveballs, changeups.
On 3-2, Gonzalez into center field, and Edmonds won't get there. A leadoff base hit. Edmonds knocks it down, and the leadoff man is on for the Diamondbacks. So Connor Jackson will be the hitter, a guy who last year at AAA hit .354. Called up and in 85 at bats hit .200, but he is the guy tonight at first base for Bob Melvin. .295 start, 3 home runs, 19 RBIs to start 06. Sean Green next, then Orlando Hudson, the former Blue Jay. Right down the middle, strike one.
Jackson, big prospect. He was the Pacific Coast League's 4th best hitter last year with a .354 average.
The 0-1 should be. It is. 5-4-3 double play. There's another double play ground ball induced by Mark Mulder.
11th already, and he leads the National League. Just tailor-made, hit hard, but right at Gold Glover, and then they just start throwing around the horn. But that's what you can get, a base hit or two here, but Mulder always has that ability to get out of a jam with the double play ball.
Here is Sean Green. He takes a strike. Sean Green's career has been good. He, in 1999, led everybody to believe that it was going to be great. Hall of Fame type player, everybody thought back in '99, and he's always been a run producer, but never at that level. In '99, he hit .309, hit 42 home runs for Toronto, drove in 123. In the stolen base department that year, he stole 20. The year before, he'd stolen 35.
He's in one of those stretches right now where he's hit safely in 14 of his last 15 games. .466 clip.
Good pitch by Mulder in under his hands. Green is gone, and that will do it for Arizona in the second. It hit a double play. Cardinals lead 2-0. Here is Yadier Molina. Aaron Miles and Mark Mulder will follow as we are in the bottom of the second. 2-0 Cardinals on top. Strike one. 94-mile-an-hour pitch from Juan Cruz. There are the numbers for Yadier Molina. If you ask Tony La Russa about it, he will tell you that Molina has hit into some tough luck. But his average at the end of the day, when you look up there, is 168. 1 ball, 1 strike. That has got some legs.
Yes.
Retire number 51 movement in the city.
Well, you see the 14 there.
Molina grounds to easily. 1 out.
Ken Boyer, the captain, 14 retire number, dispels the argument that they're all Hall of Famers.
You could certainly make a case that Boyer should be a Hall of Famer.
Yes, you can.
But he's not.
And Willie, falls short of that category, but what a great Cardinal.
Whitey Herzog.
There's another one that should be a Hall of Famer.
I agree. And it was actually Herzog that Sean Green story at the top of this inning as Aaron Miles takes a moving fastball for a strike. It was Herzog who, after Green put up that year with Toronto when he hit 42 home runs and stole 20, had stolen 35 the year before, that thought Green could be a 50-50 guy. He hasn't really come close ever since.
One thing about him, he's kind of got that laid-back personality that, you really have to be driven to do that 40-40 or 50-50.
Will pop up behind second base off the bat of Miles into the glove of Easley, 2 out. Here's Mulder. What a day he had if they're talking about that inaugural season and opening day at Busch Stadium, that print. The day he had here in the opener, the gem that he pitched and the way he swung the bat with a double and a home run, his first career home run. Takes a ball inside.
We kind of helped him out that day, didn't we? We talked about, when's this guy going to swing the bat as well as he looks? He's a DH in college.
Mulder gets a swing and chops it on 2 bounces to Easley, and easily Cruz goes through the Cardinals in the bottom of the second. Retire Willie McGee, huh? A lot of people would love to see that. 2-0 Cardinals after 2. Next date in baseball history. The first game is played at Busch Memorial Stadium. That's the last version of Busch Stadium, the one the Cardinals just moved out of. May 12th, 1966. Lou Brock drove in the game winner. And in this Busch Stadium, look what Albert Pujols has put together the first 19 games he's played here. 11 home runs, 26 RBIs, 62 total bases, 19 walks, and game-winning RBIs galore, something that years ago the powers that be in Major League Baseball decided was no longer going to be an official stat. But what he has done to put the Cardinals ahead to stay has been remarkable here at the start of the season.
Leads the major leagues with 10. He's in line for the game-winning RBI right now for this one, and he has the game-winning RBI in 8 of the team's last 13 wins, and it could be 9 out of the last 14.
1 ball, 1 strike. Hudson, a lot in front of that pitch. 1-2. Orlando Hudson is a guy that we got to see play the old Busch Stadium when the Toronto Blue Jays came to town. He is very good defensively. And that's the start he's off to in a Diamondbacks uniform. Chops one to Rowland. Should know better than that. 1 out. Let's go back to 1966 and look at the leaders in those categories we showed you for Pujols. The first 19 games for the Cardinals. Mike Shannon and 6 players were tied with 1 home run.
Right.
Kurt Flood with his 13 RBIs, Tim McCarver with 30 total bases, and Jerry Buchek in the walk department. And there's Mike. There's a strike from Mark Mulder.
Kind of looked like Bobby Albert's numbers surpassed the whole team totals.
1 home run compared to what Albert has done. Up and away. 1 ball, 1 strike on Chris Snyder, the young catcher for the Diamondbacks. Arizona has had 2 base runners in the first couple of innings, but so far Mulder has faced the minimum because Molina picked off easily to end the top of the first, and the Cardinals turned a double play last inning. 2-1 now on Snyder. 2 homers, 9 RBIs, and a .257 average. 3rd inning, 1 out, And that misses for ball 3, 3-1. On deck is Juan Cruz, the pitcher. The third and foul, full count. You know, you look at the National League West, and you didn't think much about the Diamondbacks coming into the year, but there's no team in the National League West. It looks like they're going to run away with it. The Diamondbacks have as good a shot as anybody of winning the division.
Yeah, I mean, everybody should stick around for that one.
To his right, Aaron Miles. 2 down.
Got the ground balls working today. A couple strikeouts, everything else on the ground, and you know, as Mulder even looked like he even breaks a sweat. You know, Pujols always looked like he's calm and collected, but Mulder just ho-hum, Mr. Cool.
With 2 out, nobody on, here is Juan Cruz looking for his first hit. As a Diamondback, he takes a pitch down and in. The out call by Ed Montague, the crew chief over at first. Rather nonchalant, even though the throw by Aaron Miles pulled Pujols off the bag.
You see, come up the line a little bit, snaps the tag, and then he brings that hand back towards the body very quickly so he doesn't get hooked, tangled, or break a wrist.
2 balls and a strike on Cruz.
Seen a couple nasty accidents, Cliff Floyd being one, that guys hanging around over there and get tangled up with the base runner and get hurt.
That was one that happened at Chase Stadium for Floyd when he was playing with Montreal. They thought his career might be over. The collision was so bad, with a throw bringing his glove into the base runner. Here's a 3-1 to Cruz. Full count. I think he was taking on that 3-1 pitch.
Setting him up, maybe.
A 2-out walk to the pitcher, Juan Cruz. Second walk of the night handed out by Mulder, and that'll give Eric Burns an at bat here in the 3rd inning with a man on, 2 out.
Only blemish for Mulder, but that's one you kind of kick yourself.
There's the season for Burns.
Two outs. Wonder why he's playing or even guarding the line or holding the runner, which is a pitcher, on. And
now Mulder gets a visit from Molina, and Pujols comes over after that first lead by Cruz. And Pujols is going right back to the bag to hold him on. But Cruz is about 3 inches off the base.
Yeah, and I mean, you can play behind him and still hold him in check. And with Molina back there by him plate, let him run.
Ripped to third and under the glove of Rolen into left field. Cruz doesn't look comfortable running the bases at all. It's the second hit of the night for Arizona, and that walk to the pitcher could come back to really haunt Mulder if he can't get Damian Easley here with 2 on and 2 out. Cruz the lead runner at second, and now Burns is on with his sharp single.
Tried to backhand it there and just got underneath the glove. Ball hit very hard.
Breaking ball in for a strike. Easley walked his first time, then was picked off by Molina.
He kind of had his career resurrected a little bit last year for the Marlins.
Walked by Molina. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Appeared in 102 games last year for the Marlins. It's amazing how to watch Edmonds and then watch other outfielders, how deep they play in this ballpark.
Easley with a 1-1 count takes a ball outside 2-1. Easley's been around for a long time. He originally came up with the Angels in '92. Had some decent years for Detroit. A year in Tampa Bay that he'd like to forget. And then 2 seasons with the Marlins.
'98 he was that all-star with Detroit. Had a big year.
2-1 pitch is a high strike. It's 2-2. And you can see Mulder is trying to feel for his control here at the early stages.
Talked about how they were trying to get him to keep his weight back. His tendency to rush a little bit, and then your arms dragging. You don't get it down the where you want it.
2 on, 2 out, 2-2 pitch is chopped foul outside third.
He had 27 home runs for that '98 campaign for Detroit. 100 RBIs too.
A walk to the pitcher Cruz, a base hit by Burns, a 2-2 count on Easley. Cardinals lead 2-0. Easley takes strike 3 on the inside corner. Fastball had him frozen, and Mulder rings up his 3rd of the night. Diamondbacks strand 2, trail by 2 into the bottom of the 3rd. That this Sunday is Mother's Day. Why don't you treat the mom in your life to a Cardinals game? This Sunday, the Cardinals and Diamondbacks, first 20,000 women 16 and over with a paid admission, receive a Tab Energy Deerberg's canvas tote bag, compliments of Coca-Cola, official soft drink of the Cardinals and Deerberg's. Tickets, log on to STLCardinals.com and click on Prime Seat Club. Eckstein singled in the 1st. Came around to score on the RBI base hit by Albert Pujols. Bottom of the 3rd inning, 2-0 Cardinals on top. Eckstein is jammed, fights it off, fouls it off, 0-2. Scrolling across the top is what's gone on so far. A base hit by Eckstein, a hit by Rodriguez. RBI hit by Rowland, or rather Pujols in the 1st, a sac fly by Edmonds. And then the inning was shut down the rest of the way by Ron Cruz, who gets the outside corner, and now Eckstein shoots a glance toward Marvin Hudson, the home plate umpire, on his way back to the dugout on what is a wide strike.
Well, you kind of said that. It looked like they're set up on the corner and kind of tailing right back, but I think David was shocked and surprised by first strikeout by Cruz. David Eckstein's walked 13 times and already struck out 12.
There's John Rodriguez. One of the toughest to fan last year was David Eckstein. Rodriguez with a base hit and a run scored. Takes another wide pitch that's called a strike. It's 0-1.
You know, if you're the pitcher and you start seeing this strike zone, why do you ever throw a pitch down the middle of the plate? Not tonight.
0-2.
Rodriguez came in. He's 1 for 1 tonight, but 385 in his 12 starts and 444 off the bench. That's how you hit over 400.
Guy who really didn't get to play much during the spring and was banged up with a bad shoulder to start the season, and that drills him. An 0-2 pitch. It got away from Cruz, and Rodriguez will try to shake it off on his way down to first. If there's ever, Al, a defense case to be made for a pitcher, it's 0-2, Pujols coming up. You know he didn't try to hit him. NASCAR tomorrow returns on Fox. Nextel Cup racing from Darlington. The world's best drivers take the track as defending champion Greg Biffle looks to take home the checkered flag for the 2nd year in a row. The Dodge Charger 500 tomorrow at 5:30 Central in high def, only on Fox. Pujols already won at bat, 1 RBI, and 44 on the year. That one blown by his bat, 95 miles per hour, strike 1.
Cruz has that live arm, Good movement on it. Very good slider. And see, remember I said how you look at the difference between where Edmonds plays and these other outfielders. I mean, they're almost on the track.
Pujols walking around in the clubhouse before the game with a heat pack on his back. Gets it off the end of the bat. Now in the hole 0-2. He's still bothered by a bad back, but playing through it. Trying to keep it as loose as he can just prior to game time.
You just love his warrior attitude. Saying, well, one day's not going to be enough, so might as well play through it. Got my off day yesterday. Got to want to be out there. And he does.
One ball, 2 strikes, 1 on, 1 out. Albert trying to tell himself to relax and calm down during this at bat against Cruz. He went up there ready to pump and swung through a 95-mile-an-hour fastball.
That was against the deciding at bat off of Mesa the other night after he got ahead, and then he almost checked his swing for a strikeout and later delivered the winning blow.
Up and away. If you look at where Pujols has his bat, it's a little different look this year than in years past, but when he gets ready to hit and the bat is back, it's almost in a great golf position. He doesn't have his left wrist cupped at all. And if you watch Tiger Woods swing in slow motion, you'll see that left wrist flat the way Pujols has his bat resting now. Pujols has been getting more and more into the game of golf, and that's a position that every golfer wants to get in. That left wrist flat, not cupped. And that's how he hits now. And this is a little different look with the bat than we saw last year his MVP season.
And it looks like he can get to the ball that much quicker.
The 2-2. Still 2-2.
Talking with Jay Bell, the bench coach for Arizona. We're talking about Pujols, and every team will make the same statement. He's the best hitter in the game today.
And I think I was going to say this in his first at bat. I think this is the first year that league-wide that conversation is being had. I think everywhere you go, whether it's in St. Louis, it's in New York, it's in L.A., wherever, Pujols is now regarded as the game's best. That just missed. Cruz wanted it, didn't get it. Full count.
And some teams are saying he's starting to get the ultimate superstar treatment, meaning that you cannot get a called third strike against him in his home park.
Guy on that list was Tony Gwynn.
Well, I remember Stremski.
3-2 the count. It was 0-2. Rodriguez takes off on ball 4. 2 on with 1 out. The patience that Pujols displays day after day, at bat after at bat, is as remarkable as the numbers that he puts up. 2 on, 1 out. And Jim Edmonds will dig his way in. Edmonds almost rode one out of here. Into right his first time up. He got under it, but he reminded us all that the wind is blowing out to right.
If you look at those flags out in left center, you know, it's nowhere near the way it was whipping earlier in the evening.
Broken bat, little pop up beyond the shortstop position. Late break by Gonzalez, but he has time to get there. 2 out. The inning is up to rolling. Juan Cruz has that baseball checked by Jerry Lane, longtime big league umpire, out at second. The old game of the week returns on May 20th. And the Mets, after they are here at the beginning of next week, will go home to Shea Stadium to take on the Yankees. That is our first big game on Fox a week from tomorrow.
And that will be, Cardinals will be in interleague action in Kansas City against the Royals.
A wide strike, and rolling is surprised to learn that he's behind on the count 0-1. Runners on at first and second. Rolen could deliver a big hit here with 2 out. The Cardinals already up 2-0 in the third. That gets away from the young catcher, and the runners advance to second and third as Snyder. That could be a pass ball. Looked like it on first glance, but we'll see as we get another look at that pitch. The runners are at second and third.
Well, set up there, and you see the ball just running, and it should be a pass ball. Not saying it's the easiest to catch, but this is the big leagues, and it is scored a pass ball.
So now a hit could mean 2. Runners at second and third, 2 out. Rolen is hitting .307. Fly to center his first time up, and he is overmatched on that pitch. 1-2.
Get the ball up, particularly up and in with a lot of, speed on it. You can get the ball by Scotty, but if you make a mistake, you hang a slider, or you get that ball down a little bit, he's looking for it, he can hit it.
Here's a 1-2. Zone is changing before our eyes. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And I think that based on what we saw a couple other pitches, that Cruz should, should have wanted those and thought he would have those be called strikes. That's all you ask for is consistency.
Here comes a 2-2 to Scott. Check swing. He held up, full count. Talking to Rolen before the game, he said, I'm still 8-9 pounds light after the illness. He said, I need those 8-9 pounds back so I can stop wearing out the front of the warning track. I need to.
Well, you could, it's hard to say a guy that's 230 is skinny, but he is.
Second and third, 2 out, 3-2 pitch. Inning is over. Cruz strikes out his second of the inning. And we go to the fourth. Cardinals take the field behind Mulder, up 2-0. Juan Cruz thought he had Scott Rolen struck out on this pitch. Reacted in a way that may have upset the home plate umpire a little bit. So on his way off the field, he said, my fault. Didn't mean to show you up. I still love you, and take care of me as this game wears on.
All right, did mean to show you up, but I'm trying to also stay in the game and get a few extra calls.
Exactly. You ever manipulate umpires?
Oh yeah. I put more pressure on an umpire what I did behind the mound and the reaction that the other team would have. But since I didn't say anything and the other dugout would be yelling and screaming and all those things, sometimes it worked to my advantage.
Chad Tracy, the third baseman for the Diamondbacks, chops one to the right side, and the count evens at a ball and a strike. And that happens really more times than not. Any time a manager goes out, puts in his 2 cents, you know that the call's not going to change, but it's at least noted for later in the game. It might swing back the other way. 1 ball, 1 strike. In for a strike. These guys are human, and they do have relationships with these players and relationships with the managers, and not to say that they're easily swayed, but these guys try their best to get what they can from them. 1-2 pitch. Tracy way out in front. Good pitch by Mulder, and that is Mark's 4th strikeout of the night.
He's got the big sweepy breaking ball working. You see that Molina set up outside. Look at that, 66 miles an hour. It started up so high that it looked like it was just a beach ball coming up there. And then you start your swing and it just breaks away and beyond your plate coverage.
1 out. Here is Gonzalez, another lefty, and a strike from Mulder.
Joe, it is fascinating to talk about relationships with umpires and how to work them, and even at times where a manager will go out there and purposely get himself thrown out to try and rev up his ball club if he thinks they're getting a little too passive, or just how you, as a manager, you got to go out there. You may totally agree with the umpire, but you got to protect your player. You got to get the player away from them so they don't get thrown out. And then there's some times where the manager will say and do everything to get thrown out, and the umpire will say, nope, I'm staying here. You got to stay too.
No balls, 2 strikes, and Gonzalez with 1 out, nobody on. And that big breaking ball is chopped out to second. Aaron Miles, who's played very well in his first year with the Cardinals, 2 out. The Cardinals, in their present condition, I think could use another bat for the outfield. But I think they're getting everything they could have hoped for out of Aaron Miles out at second base. He swung the bat well. He's a switch hitter. He's played a very solid defense.
Well, and then put the Luna on top of there. You're getting some mileage, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Spezio over there time or two. So second base is kind of taking care of itself. And I think most people would agree that if you're looking for a bat, you're looking for an outfielder.
Hard hit, base hit. The reach of Eckstein, who floated to his left and then gave a little lunge through the air, stayed on his feet, and just could not get there. A 2-out hit by Connor Jackson.
Goes down and gets it, lifts it up, and just beyond David's reach.
Little scissor kick from David at the end.
I noticed that.
1 on, 2 down. Here's Sean Green. Struck out his first time up. And he went around there, strike 1. Green. Go ahead.
Hit in 14 and 15 with 9 multi-hit games during that time.
That's down and away. 1 ball, 1 strike. Edmonds is shaded toward right center field, playing Green to pull. Sean, who ended up playing 5 years with the Dodgers, is in his 2nd year with Arizona. 1 ball, 1 strike with 1 on, 2 out. Strike 2. Green came to the Dodgers. He was traded for the most part for another outfielder, Raul Mondesi, who was coming off a good year with the Dodgers, and that didn't really work out too well up in Toronto. Former Rookie of the Year was Mondesi. Check on the runner, and Connor Jackson is flattered that Mark Mulder would throw over. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Green. And for the 2nd time in as many at bats, Green strikes out. That is 5 strikeouts already for Mulder. Diamondbacks have stranded 3 on the night. Cardinals lead it 2-0 into the bottom of the 4th. Encarnacion goes after the first pitch and pops it into center field for Eric Burns to his left. 1 pitch, 1 out. We're underway in the bottom of the 4th inning with the Cardinals up 2-0. They got 2 in the first, RBIs by Pujols and Edmonds, and since then have not mounted much of an attack against Juan Cruz. Here's Molina. Yadier does not have a home run on the season. He has driven home 9, and his average 167. Takes the ball low.
He has hit some balls hard that have been right at people, but trying to fight his way out of it. Seen some frustration at times, but he keeps on catching and doing a good job there.
You know, there are certain guys, you hear it said about different players, even if he doesn't hit, okay, he doesn't hit, but he's so valuable to have in the lineup. And Yadier Molina, if anybody falls in that category, this is a kid who does.
But I think we all feel that he will hit.
You and I talked at the beginning of the season. I'm still not giving up on him at the plate this year.
Oh, no.
I think he's going to develop into a very solid big league hitter.
And I agree. And you look at last year, he got off to a very slow start and hit well if you threw away April. This year, you might have to extend that through parts of May, but the ball can jump off his bat at times too when he's swinging well.
3 balls and a strike. Should get something to hit here, and he swings through it. 91 miles per hour, full count. Cal McRae is the Cardinal hitting instructor, and at just after 4 o'clock, he was working on the swing and the approach of Yadier Molina.
Worked awfully hard with him. But for whatever reason, and one of the problems is that Hal sees is if he doesn't have immediate success, you know, he tries a different, you know, stance. And he really won't stay with the one that, you know, kind of Albert Pujols kind of worked with him last year that got him straightened out.
A 1-out walk. One on, 1 out. Aaron Miles will be the hitter. The best damn sports show, period. Tonight, right here on FSN Midwest. John Sally, Rob Dibble, Chris Rose, Rodney Peete. Mother's Day special with Bettis, Hasselbeck, and Donovan McNabb right after our post game, only on FSN Midwest. Here's Aaron Miles.
I wonder if they'll bring some soup in to the set.
Where the McNabb family is, there's always soup. Ground ball to the right side, and the first baseman's throw pulls easily off the bag. Connor Jackson hurried. It's an error on the young first baseman, and after the walk, the error follows, and it's 2 on with 1 out for Mulder.
Well, the right-handed first baseman, this is a real tough play for him. And throwing there, if you're left-handed, you can see you have a direct line approach, but right-handed, you're throwing it right into kind of the where the runner is. And he slings his sidearm, and he has a tendency to sail that way instead of right over the top.
Here's Mulder. The Diamondbacks are expecting a bunt, and the Cardinals swing away with Mulder. Strike 1.
Well, we've said it 1,000 times, but Tony La Russa is more creative with his pitcher in bunt situations, the different things, and every pitch it may be a different instruction. Remember, you got Molina out there at third base. It's tough for him. Takes a perfect bunt. That might have been part of that equation of swinging away. Wouldn't be surprised if it's back to swinging away, or the butcher boy chopping down on a ball.
Showing bunt early.
That doesn't mean anything early.
1 ball, 1 strike. And Cruz trying to catch Molina. He's trying to get as far away from the bag as he can.
Seen hit and runs. We've seen all kinds of things with Tony at the helm.
So funny for a guy who made his name as an American League manager. This aspect of the game he seems to have the most fun with. He becomes more creative every time he gets the chance. That is a perfect bunt. Mulder could not have rolled it out there any better, and the sacrifice is good to advance the runners to second and third, 2 out.
Just perfect form, and you got to remember, with Molina out there, you're going to want to bunt it towards the third base. You got to bunt it hard enough to get by the pitcher to where the third baseman has to come in and field the ball, vacating the third base bag. Good form, excellent result.
Sacrifices scored 5-4 as the third baseman Tracy fed Orlando Hudson at first. The runners are at second and third for the Cardinal shortstop. Eckstein hits one into shallow center field, and Burns stalks it. Cardinals now have stranded 5. We go into inning number 5. Juan Cruz hops over the foul line, and we go to the 5th with the Cardinals up 2-0. We will give you a pitch by pitch. It's brought to you by your Mid-America Chevrolet dealers and these 3 curveballs by the lefty.
And you can really see like he has very good command of his breaking pitches tonight. The curveball's been sharp. He's had everybody fishing for it. He has 5 strikeouts, and he struck out the last man of the inning in all 4 innings.
Here's Hudson. He takes a ball up and away. Orlando Hudson, Chris Snyder, and Juan Cruz, the bottom 3 in the lineup for Arizona. 2-0 Cardinals, 5th inning, and that one misses 2-0. Well, have you noticed? I know there are diehard viewers of Cardinal baseball on television. I wonder if any of them have noticed that the look is different tonight than it has been the start of the season in the new ballpark. Orlando Hudson shoots one to left. Rodriguez is back, and this ball is off the wall. Almost got out. Hudson almost took a nosedive going to second, and it's a leadoff double.
I think he and Pujols almost collided as Albert's kind of trailing, but boy, he jumps on this pitch. Target down, but the ball is up, and he just jumps on it over the head of Rodriguez off the wall. And when he was going between first and second, it looked like he kind of clipped, or Pujols tried to clip him. So you had Montague kind of joking a little bit with Albert, like, you know, can't do that. Can't knock him down between first and second so they can tag him out.
Here's a number 8 hitter, Chris Snyder, runner at second, nobody out. And the catcher takes a strike.
Albert's got the trailing responsibility, so watch, he takes over here, and then they, you know, just a glancing blow, but it almost knocks Hudson off stride.
Tail of the tape features a pretty good advantage for Albert Pujols, banging into the body of Orlando Hudson. Started to talk about the difference tonight compared to games past in this new park, as Molina does a good job of blocking that ball. We have moved our center field camera to give you at home, the viewer, a better view.
And it's a little bit more directly behind home plate, and you can, it's the bottom one is, it used to be up here, and now we moved it down there, and you cannot believe the difference.
That is back to Mulder. Hudson almost wandered too far. He dives back to the second base bag, 1 out.
Joe, we were in Chad Blair's video room, Tom, me, and I, and we were seeing the difference between Chad Blair's center field camera and the FSN camera here, especially on, say, some of the breaking balls, like a Wainwright breaking ball. We thought it was really, it looked dynamite. But then when you saw it directly from Chad Blair's camera or our new camera position, it's even more devastating.
Juan Cruz now will get instructions as to what he's supposed to do here with Orlando at Hudson at second base and 1 out. Here's the old look from center field. Still looks good because Pujols is at the plate. Here's the new look tonight. A live look. Lower and a little more intimate. And a better angle for you to view these pitches from tonight, Mark Mulder. Cruz is up there to hack, at least on the first pitch. Strike 1. Already 1 out in the inning, so at least on that first pitch, the Diamondbacks were just hoping that Cruz could make his bat find the baseball. hitless on the year. And that's strike 2. Cruz walked his first time up. Hudson a leadoff double. Snyder bounced back to Mulder. Cruz up with Eric Burns on deck. Hudson is stealing third. The throw down by Molina, not in time.
Even though Miles was standing right at the bag, he got a terrific jump, and he is lightning quick. Comes down here, bang, bang play. Mark Wegner is the third base umpire, and it looks like he was safe. He's in good position.
Makes the RBI chance easier for Cruz, but he's backed up with a 1-2 count, and he strikes out. Trying to bunt his way on. That was not a suicide squeeze. That was him just trying to do that maybe on his own, and that was ugly.
He might have even been out of the batter's box when he made contact, too.
That's the 6th strikeout for Mulder, and it's Hudson at third, two down now for Eric Burns.
Watch him kind of start running out here, and I think he's out of the batter's box when he made contact, but there were 2 strikes. Ball bunted foul. He's out either way. 6 strikeouts for Mulder.
It's up to Burns now. And Molina blocks ball number 1. Burns with a sharp single under the glove of Rowland at third. His last time up, 1 for 2, and overall hitting .307. Diamondbacks trailing 2-0, and wow, that is a wide strike. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Backdoor breaking ball. Hitter gives up on it, then it breaks to the outside, but
maybe my view has changed of home plate.
no, I think you're always correct.
Oh, yeah.
And that was a little bit around the plate.
1-1 the count. Burns hits it down the left field line, hooking into the corner. It is a fair ball and a home run. Home run by Eric Burns as it got over the wall and left, came back onto the playing field, and it's a 2-2 game. It hit over the wall, then hit against the billboard out and left, came back onto the field, but it left, according to the third base umpire, Mark Wegner. And let's take another look and see just how far that got out. Hit off the billboard and then back onto the field. It's a 2-2 game.
It leaves the ballpark, and trying to come inside and didn't get in far enough.
Here's Damian Easley with 2 out, nobody on.
Those are the first runs that Mulder has given up, and this is his 3rd start. 22 and 2/3 innings. First runs he's ever given up to the Diamondbacks.
Easley breaks his bat and lines one softly to roll, and the inning is over, but not before damage is done. A 2-out, 2-run shot by Eric Burns that just got out and left. With that, as we're halfway through this game, it's a 2-2 score. For, in my own words, John Rooney. Rooney discusses his career, beginning with the days of calling radio bingo to a World Series, to circling back to call his childhood team the Cardinals. Also show us some of his famous impersonations, including Mike Shannon and Harry Carey. In my own words, John Rooney, Monday at 10 on FSN Midwest. Great to have John Rooney in the fold with the Cardinal radio team, working with Mike Shannon.
You worked together in Louisville.
We worked together with Missouri basketball.
Ooh.
So we go way back.
But Louisville too?
He preceded me in Louisville.
Oh.
Rodriguez, the number 2 hitter. Pujols, the number 3 hitter. And Edmonds, the cleanup man, as the Diamondbacks have caught the Cardinals on the home run by Eric Burns. 2-0, now 2-1. Our games together were produced by Gregory Logan. Greg has cut some of the hair, not all of the hair off that he used to sport back in the early 90s. Rodriguez off the end of the bat, 2-2. So says the jealous play-by-play guy who could never hope to grow the hair that Greg has on top of his head. 2-2 with Pujols on deck. The importance of that number 2 hitter in the Cardinal lineup. He's been on base twice. And shoots it foul.
John's average at .408, and he's hit .404 against right-handed pitching.
Came in hitting .385 as a starter, so he is off to a very good start. Rocking back and forth with those knees at the plate. 2-2 pitch. He had him out in front. Good delivery by Cruz. Not only off speed, but down. Strikeout number 3 for the Arizona right-hander. Home run update for the Albert Pujols Foundation, brought to you by Hardee's, home of the Thick Burger. Albert has hit 18, a total of $9,000. The Pujols Family Foundation. Hardee's is donating $500 to the Pujols Family Foundation for every home run Albert hits this year. Breaking ball drops low and away. Pujols has an RBI single, a walk. So a good night again tonight. Here's a 1-0. Like he was trying to go to right. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, that's the thing about Albert. Even though he's off to his great start with his 18 home runs, defensively, the only thing he can do is play deep and bunching. The infielders are way back on the grass. Look at Hudson at second.
Oh, that grazes him. Didn't catch him clean, but got a piece of Albert, and he's on base for the 3rd time tonight.
Second hit by pitch thrown by Cruz here. Got to work him in and out. Just raises him, as you said. Got to find some kind of way to do it.
Well, I mean, every pitch that Cruz had thrown to that point, for the most part, had been away.
Yeah, so sometimes a hitter will hit himself, or what his intent was is to have the hitter jam himself, thinking it's going to be another pitch away.
Here is Edmonds. And Jim takes a ball up and away.
Sacrifice fly the first time up. Last time, just kind of a lazy little pop-up to left field, but see if they work him away and he doesn't just drive the ball to the opposite field. Try and come in.
And too far inside, 2-0. Edmonds a sac fly, and he's fly to left.
A lot of room in between the infield and where the outfielders are playing at their depths.
Edmonds gets out in front, hits it to deep right field. That's a 2-run shot. Way out, and the Cardinals back on top, 4-2. Number 5 on the year for the Cardinals center fielder.
Off-speed pitch, instead of away, he leaves it there. Lifts that front foot right back and just turns on the pitch. His back leg collapsed a little bit on an off-speed pitch. 3 RBIs on the night, giving him 26. And second place in the RBI category to Pujols.
1 out, nobody on. Rolen takes a ball up and away. The Cardinals had their 2-0 lead erased on the 2-run shot by Burns, and in the bottom of the 5th, Pujols hit by a pitch, and Edmonds hits a 2-run shot to make it 4-2. Rolen tried to hold up but could not on that pitch that dropped down and away. 1 ball, 1 strike. Encarnacion on deck as Rolen comes up empty on that high delivery. Suntrip Automotive family with a Win One for the Kids charity fund. 39 home runs. They donate $100 for every Cardinal home run. The Win One for the Kids charity foundation. 1-2 pitch, 2-2. Juan Cruz brings it. It's low, full count. Diamondbacks in the 6th inning will have the heart of their lineup. Chad Tracy, Louis Gonzalez, and Connor Jackson. Rolen with 3 home runs, 13 RBIs on the season. 3-2 pitch. Pretty good rip there.
Scotty missed 9 games due to that illness. He had a season high 5-game hitting streak snapped on Monday night. He's hit .304 since his return.
Still full. .393-foot home run hit by Jim Edmonds here in the 5th. Another 3-2 and another foul ball. The Cardinals announced today that their left-handed reliever Ricardo Rincon underwent successful arthroscopic surgery yesterday to repair his left labrum and rotator cuff.
Keep on reading.
There's more.
Yeah. If that wasn't enough, let's take care of the elbow too.
3-2 pitch is down and away for a 1-out walk. That's the 3rd walk issued by Cruz tonight. What's on tap is brought to you by Bud Light. Jason Marquis will tow it as the Cardinals take on the Diamondbacks tomorrow. WB11. And out to talk. Meeting on the mound for Cruz, who just issued his 3rd walk of the night to go with his 3 strikeouts and his 4 runs on 4 hits.
Ryan Price is the pitching coach for Bob Melvin, and a good activity in that bullpen. But good at bat by Scott Rolen, fighting off numerous pitches.
And they are stirring but not throwing yet out in the Diamondback bullpen. So Rincon had his shoulder operated on, his elbow operated on, and the announcement is the usual rehabilitation for this type of procedure is 7 to 9 months.
Yeah, he's out for the season. At first there was some speculation he wouldn't need surgery, but and further review, Dr. Paletta just felt like it wasn't going to get any better and needed the surgery. He has another year in his contract next year.
Encarnacion was trying to shoot one out of here. Strike 1. Juan is 0 for 2 tonight. He's grounded out to short and fly to center. Cardinals have Tyler Johnson on their active roster. That move was made when the Cardinals put Sidney Ponson on the DL. Encarnacion is overmatched upstairs. It's 0-2.
Golden opportunity for Tyler Johnson. You know, Flores has established himself as the #1 lefty, but with the 8 relievers down there, 6 righties and 2 lefties. If Johnson does a good job, you would think he would stay to give a little more flexibility and balance.
Encarnacion stays alive.
Encarnacion, kind of a long swing. And Hal McRae kind of feels that, his numbers, he's kind of a streaky type hitter. It's also, Bigby has kind of a long swing also.
That one misses for a ball to Encarnacion. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The Cardinals have a runner at first. Only 1 out here in the 5th as they lead it 4-2.
Juan does have a 5-game hitting streak. He's hit .316 with a home run during that time. His longest of the year has been 6 games.
A fly ball into shallow right. Out goes Hudson. In comes Green, and Sean Green didn't do anything.
He didn't look like he wanted any part of that fly ball.
My goodness. He was more than willing to let Orlando Hudson run a mile out into right field and just come in and make the catch.
He just checked his second baseman who's streaking across, and a much more difficult over the shoulder catch than the easier one for Sean Green come in. I've never been impressed with Sean Green as an outfielder, period.
Well, Hudson, after he started walking back to his second base position, looked over his shoulder out at Green like.
Yeah. But he did the right thing. Until you're called off, you just keep on running hard.
Molina shoots one into center field. Rolen will stop at second. It's 2 on with 2 out. I'm not so sure that Orlando Hudson wasn't just talking to the second base umpire about that play out in right a moment ago. But he, after looking out at Green and right, and not to say that there's any issue there, but I think he was surprised that he wasn't called off on that play and really made a nice running grab in what turns out to be a big second out, as it's followed by the hit by Molina. Now it's 2 on 2 out for Aaron Miles. So if he can come up with a big 2-out hit. Miles is 0 for 2 tonight. Still hitting over 300 as he takes a high strike. 6 RBIs for Miles, who got off to an all-world start the first week and a half of the season. Wide, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Aaron's kind of shown that ability that opening day he'll have some kind of phenomenal last couple years at the big league level. Remember, he got 5 hits first game in spring training.
Just likes to start things out with a bang.
Makes it a lot easier.
To the right side, and Hudson to his left. Flips it. The inning is over. The Cardinals regain the lead. Pujols hit by a pitch, and Edmonds goes deep. 393 feet into right. 4-2 Cardinals after 5. The first, each team got 2 in the 5th. That means that it's a 4-2 lead for St. Louis as we go to the 6th inning. Heart of the lineup for Arizona, and this is Tracy with a roller foul up the first baseline. Chad Tracy, his first 2 times up, is struck out. Jim Edmonds, with 1 swing, put the Cardinals back in front with a 2-run shot in the bottom of the 5th. Talked about it in his first at bat. This is a guy who burst onto the scene last year, hit 27 home runs. Troy Gloss, who was their third baseman, is now up in Toronto and hitting a ton there. 0-2 on Tracy.
Last year he led the team with career high 308 batting average, slugging percentage over .550,
and almost struck out for the third time tonight as it just got out of the glove of Molina on the foul tip.
And last year he led the majors with a .372 average in 36 day games.
Should play for the Cubs.
Curveball, get it down.
He's chased it a couple times. This time it wasn't close enough. Ball one. Another lefty is Gonzalez on deck. And Connor Jackson. 1-2. Check swing for Roland. Gets a true hop. 1 out. Chad Tracy, the number 3 hitter, is 0 for 3 tonight. Here's Gonzalez. He's 1 for 2. Louis has had all kinds of trouble with his throwing arm. The elbow, and it's been something where he's been out in the outfield, really unable to throw in years past. That's gotten better. And he's still a threat at the plate. Out in front, strike one.
Elbow doesn't affect his bat.
It didn't even when it was at its worst.
Right. It's tough. You know, it's like good friends with Bagwell, and he came up in that stretch when they with the Houston. You know, with Bagwell, you can kind of cover him a little bit at first base, but how do you do it with an outfielder?
Happy little girl with a foul ball.
Scherzer's so good. Look at that. Worth it right there, isn't it?
Oh, that's great. 0-2 is the count on Gonzalez. With 1 out, he takes the ball down and in. Gonzalez has had Tommy John surgery. He had that in 2004. He played much of the year with a bad elbow, and August 2nd shut it down. Here's a 1-2.
Fastball inside, just pounded right off his foot. Mulder can throw that sinking fastball that produces so many ground balls and a lot of foot pain.
Pitch number 90 on the night is coming from the left hand from Mark Mulder. Here's a 1-2. Tried to crowd him with a fastball, and it barely missed. 2-2.
Nice job by Molina to try to pull it back and frame it for the umpire, but didn't get the call. I'm pounding him in.
Back in there, full count. Fouled off the fists on another inside delivery from Mulder. You know, it is remarkable to just sit back and watch Mulder work. Some guys, it looks so hard for them, the effort of pitching and getting the ball to the plate, given everything they've got. Mulder, it's like he's just going through a walk in the park, and his next delivery is inside and ripped fouled on the right side.
Mislocation, about 3 straight pitches. Trying to get the ball away and keeps on leaving it in the middle of the plate, but no damage done. Fastball away again. Missed the last 3 times.
And a little pop up into left field. In comes Rodriguez, out number 2. 2 left-handed hitters in tonight's game, Jim Edmonds, Luis Gonzalez, and we compare their strides.
You see Jim is real wide, just kind of lifts that foot up and then rocks through it. But then you see Gonzalez wide, but then he opens up and then kind of a lot more movement. Usually most of the time he'll kind of stride towards the plate, but conscious of Mulder running the ball in on him.
Connor Jackson with 2 out, nobody on, takes the ball inside. Connor just under 300 has a hit. Also bounced into a double play. Hits one a ton, but foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. Almost 9 o'clock straight up in St. Louis. Bottom of the 6th will feature Mulder, Eckstein, and Rodriguez. On 1-1, Jackson floats one into center for a hit. Got it down toward the end of the bat, but he's 2 for 3. And the inning will continue for Sean Green.
Back to Edmonds and Gonzalez and kind of see, look where they end up.
They have different ways of getting there, but they end up in just
Yeah.
about the same spot. Brian McCann working that, making that happen down in our production truck. Sean Green is jammed. Easy for Pujols, and Green is 0 for 3. We go to the bottom of the 6th here in St. Louis. It'll be Mulder to lead it off. And the Cardinals lead it 4-2.
Telecast is presented by the authority of the St. Louis Cardinals, LLC, and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals, LLC.
Going to have a pinch hitter here, Larry Bigby, to lead off this inning and bat for Mulder. And he shatters his bat and gets a base hit, his first as a Cardinal. Off the end of the bat, and Larry Bigby is lifted, or rather gets the base hit as a pinch hitter for Mark Mulder, who is lifted here after going the first 6. It wasn't pretty at times, but he ends up striking out 6 and allowing 2 runs on 6 hits.
Oh, Adam Wainwright's going to come in here with a couple-run lead, and what also could be riding on Mr. Wainwright's shoulders is first place, at least a part of it, as Philadelphia has taken a 7-2 lead in the 9th inning over Cincinnati at home. So the Cardinals, with a victory here tonight and the Cincinnati loss, would be on, they would be even on top of the Central Division standings.
Check on the runner Bigby over at first. They went and retrieved the ball. That's Larry's first hit as a Cardinal. And Eckstein is at the plate.
Thing you may not know about Larry Bigby is he has great speed.
Guy who has been on the DL with a bad foot. He takes off, and Eckstein shoots it foul down the right field line. A hit and run. And David tried to go the other way.
Had a stress fracture on that foot, but for a big guy, he can run very, very well. You a fan of The Bachelor?
The Bachelor, yes.
Remember when Jesse Palmer was on The Bachelor?
Yes.
That was supposed to be Larry Bigby.
Jesse Palmer, who at the time was backup quarterback for the New York Giants. And I did not realize that Bigby was on the list. You know, we just had The Bachelor in for my golf tournament, Travis Stork. Dr. Travis Stork, the most recent Bachelor, the ABC show.
And what's his relationship with?
They're friends.
That's good.
Eckstein with a count of 0-1. Great guy and has a very good golf swing. From St. Louis originally. Takes, Eckstein does, a pitch high, 1 ball, 1 strike.
It's amazing what you might learn on this telecast.
You just never know, Al. You just never know. Eckstein waits for a 1-1 instead of check on Bigby. There is action for the Diamondbacks in their bullpen. The Cardinals are letting Adam Wainwright get ready out in their pen.
Greg Aquino.
He's getting loose for the Diamondbacks. Right now it is Juan Cruz and David Eckstein. 2 balls and a strike. That guy that's warming up in right field for the Cardinals is a serious weapon. Out of the bullpen. I guess we turned the mic up, man. He sounds like he's throwing 200 miles an hour. Let's hear that again. He's good for now. What do you think? How you think? I know the ERA is great. He's been very impressive out of the bullpen, but where is he along that line of progression to being one of those guys that can go day after day and warm up in a hurry and get ready?
I think that's the good news is one, he's shown the resiliency that they're starting to use him now in back-to-back games.
Bigby takes off and Eckstein fouls it again.
If you notice that Bigby was in the batter's box before Adam even got up there, so he's comfortable in how few pitches, and that's the toughest thing for a former starter is to learn how to warm up. But is very, very promising future, and right now he's right where he belongs.
He's
a weapon.
That'll knock the picture frame off your TV at home.
Oh, you know, you could be a blind man and scout him.
2-2 is the count on Eckstein. Bigby with a leadoff hit as a pinch hitter. And a line drive base hit into center. Bigby will turn and go to third. 3 times during that at bat, Al, the Cardinals put the hit and run on. That's how good David Eckstein is at handling the bat.
And your hands are so important. That ball running in on him, and he uses his hands to come in through it. This is the base hit. Same pitch. You can see the movement, but it's out over the plate, sent right back up the middle. And first and third, another extra or a multi-hit game for David Eckstein, and Cruz is finished.
Cruz is gone. The hit and run single 3 times during one at bat. The Cardinals started Bigby and trusted Eckstein to put the bat on the ball, and he comes through with a hit to center. Aquino is coming in. First and third, nobody out. Cardinals trying to add to a 4-2 6th inning. For Cardinal baseball tickets, the newly renovated Hilton St. Louis at the ballpark brings you winning Cardinals baseball packages. Choose from 2 packages, both with Busch Stadium view rooms and a free make your own Redbird from Build-A-Bear Workshop at Busch Stadium. More information and reservations, visit them at hiltonstlouis.com.
Aquino originally was signed as a 16-year-old, and he played the infield for 4 seasons before becoming a pitcher. Got roughed up last Sunday as he allowed a trio of inherited runners to score. So Rodriguez getting a shot right here with runners on the corners and no one out.
Check on Eckstein over at first.
Rodriguez, you know, not knowing much about Aquino, so he's over there trying to find out a little bit about it with his hitting coach Al McRae. Get a little quick scout report. What does he throw? See if it'll pay off.
Call to the bullpen brought to you by Chevrolet. Aquino will bring home his first pitch, and it's high to John Rodriguez. Rodriguez 2 for 3, or rather 1 for 2, hit by a pitch his second time up after singling and scoring back in the first. He struck out in the 5th. He's up in a key spot. Pujols on deck. A 1-0 to the right side. A run will score, and no double play. The force out 4-6. In to score is Bigby, and the Cardinals add to their lead. It's 5-2 here in the 6th.
Eckstein play in front of him. Guys go in there, disrupt the return throw from easily, and it was just enough offline for Rodriguez to get safe there. Give him an RBI, number 6 on the year, and here's Albert.
Here's Albert. The Cardinals have already made it a 3-run lead, their biggest of the night. If they come up with a big inning here, the Cardinals may elect to keep Wainwright out in the bullpen if it's not as close a game, and use Brad Thompson.
That appears what he's doing. That kind of answers your question about what they think of Adam Wainwright. You know, he definitely wouldn't be able to pitch tomorrow with being a day game, or they're protecting him usually that way.
A check swing on a ball down and away, 1 ball, 1 strike. So now Thompson is the only one throwing. Wainwright has taken a seat, and this outfield extremely deep for Albert Pujols, who leads the major leagues with his 18 home runs and his 44 RBIs. The run is home, 2 hits in the inning, an RBI by Rodriguez, his 6th of the year. A 1-1. Double play ball to short. Out at second. Out at first. It's almost stunning when he does something like that. Pujols grounds into the double play. The Cardinals lead by 3. Downtown St. Louis, but pleasant, and a call to the bullpen brought to you by Chevrolet. Brad Thompson takes over instead of Adam Wainwright with a 3-run lead as we move into the 7th inning.
Bigby takes over in left field. So Thompson is hitting in John Rodriguez's 2nd spot in the order.
Bigby will stay in the number 9 spot, and Orlando Hudson, the number 7 hitter, is first up here in the 7th. Thompson is part of this bullpen for the Cardinals, which has an ERA of 2.52, the best bullpen ERA in the major leagues.
And Brad Thompson, a big part of that. He has an ERA that ranks 4th in the National League, .56 relief ERA.
One ball, 1 strike. Hudson doubled high off the wall and left his last time up, stole a base and scored a run on the home run hit by Eric Burns with 2 out in the 5th, the only runs of the night for the Diamondbacks.
Brad has compiled a 12-game scoreless streak.
Little chopper back to Thompson. 1 away. Hudson 1 for 3. The Cardinals get lefty ready in their bullpen. That's Tyler Johnson as Brad Thompson gets the first out here in the 7th. I think that was the sound of Tyler Johnson missing his catcher altogether in the bullpen.
You are correct, sir.
That was that little reaction he gave, like, ooh. The ball rolled all the way back to him with 1 out. Here is the catcher, Chris Snyder, strike 1. Jeff DeVannen, former Anaheim Angel, is on deck. He'll bat for Aquino.
Played with his father right here in St. Louis. Jerry DeVannen, middle infielder.
On 0-2, that breaking ball in the dirt. Aquino did a nice job coming in and getting all 3 outs in the bottom of the 6th. A couple of ground balls, gave up 1 inherited runner. Right now it's a 1-2 pitch to Snyder and a pop up into shallow right. Miles out to make the catch. 2 down. And now DeVannen is going to be called back. And it will be Andy Green, a little infielder, who will bat against Thompson. Again for Aquino, 1 inning. After Cruz, the starter, went 5. All zeros for Greg Aquino. For Juan Cruz, the starter, 5 runs allowed on 7 hits. 3 walks, 3 strikeouts, and a home run. 2 out, nothing doing for the Diamondbacks here with Andy Green at the plate. Ball 1 from Thompson. You look at the Cardinal bullpen and its makeup, and going beyond just lefty righty, and all those right-handers, everybody brings a little something different to the mound. They all have a different look.
Yes. And I felt in spring training.
Off the glove of Roland and into left field.
This bullpen had a chance to be better than the bullpen in the last couple of years that won the ERA title in the National League.
That being said, Al Reyes was a big part of the Cardinals' success the last 2 years and has definitely missed.
Definitely missed, but then you get the Wainwright, you get the Looper combination to kind of fill the void.
Here is Burns, who's already homered tonight. Good breaking ball for a strike.
It's an error on Roland.
Flattery marked down base hit. In my book, a hard hit ball that Roland could not flag down over at third. Here's an 0-1. Just missed down and in, a ball and a strike. Johnson still getting loose, but if he comes in, it's going to be after a couple of batters.
Now
Flores. So it's Flores now. Johnson has taken a seat. And Thompson is trying to get through a scoreless top of the seventh. Cardinals up 5-2. Burns hits it foul outside third.
Brad, just so unassuming, but there's something about these guys that live in Las Vegas. They're pretty kind of calm and collective. They just go out there and do their job. Like a Maddox.
Greg Maddox. Although if I had to pick one of the two guys to be my card playing partner, Maddox would be my guy. Burns, an easier one for Roland. The inning is over. Good work by Thompson. Does his job. We go into the bottom of the seventh. Time to stretch. Edmonds will lead it off. Last time up, a two-run shot. Cardinals lead by 3 into the bottom of the seventh. Paula Vaughn is tonight's merchandise winner in the Hyundai long drive inning sweepstakes. The Cardinals hit a home run this inning. Paula qualifies for the Hyundai Sonata drawing in September. To register, visit a St. Louis area Hyundai dealer. Jason Grimsley, former Kansas City Royal and New York Yankee. Guy who's been bothered by some arm trouble, takes over here in the bottom of the seventh. Edmonds homered his last time up. He will have Roland to follow and then Encarnacion. 4, 5, and 6 hitters with the Cardinals up by 3. Here in the bottom of the seventh. Edmonds now with 5 home runs, 26 RBIs, has 3 tonight. 1-1.
No left-handers in their bullpen for the Diamondbacks.
Deep, and they play Edmonds to pull. That last swing looked like he was trying to go to left.
Second baseman about 3 steps back out on the outfield grass.
2-1. Well, the temperature has really dropped in the last inning.
Yes, I've noticed that.
Huddle up a little closer.
No.
On 2-1, Edmonds takes a strike over the inside corner. Didn't like the call. 2-2.
Grimsley will turn 39 on August the 7th. Broke into the big leagues in 1989 with Philadelphia. Then with Cleveland, California, Yankees, Kansas City, Baltimore, Kansas City again, Baltimore again.
How about that swing by Edmonds? 1 out.
That's why he's still pitching at nearly 39.
Edmonds with a few words for the home plate umpire on his way out. Not talking about that last pitch, but the one before it, which was called a strike. 1 down, bottom of the seventh. Here is Roland. Scott tonight is 0 for 2 with a walk. Hitting .303 on the season, takes a ball low. Cardinals have Marquis going tomorrow night against Claudio Vargas. And Miguel Batista has been a late switch for Sunday, Mother's Day, against Chris Carpenter. Should be a nice matchup on Mother's Day here at the ballpark. Cardinals and Diamondbacks, the end of a 3-game set before the Mets are in town.
Gray listening.
Just somebody to talk to right now for Jim.
That'd be a good listener sometimes as a hitting coach.
Here's a 2-1 to Roland. Good pitch on the inside corner, 2-2. Flores is continuing to get loose in the Cardinal bullpen with Easley, Tracy, and Gonzalez, the scheduled hitters. On 2-2, Roland takes strike 3. He won't like that call. 2 out. And Scott is doing everything he can to let this umpire have it. And somehow, I'll give Marvin Hudson credit for this. He's got a long fuse because there are other umpires who would have run a player out of the game for doing what Scott Rolen just did. I understand his frustration, but I could also see an umpire saying, okay, thank you and good night.
And you can also see an umpire saying, Scott, this is where I thought the pitch was. We might have disagreement, but I overrule you. Go back to the dugout. You don't have to whip your mask off.
My point is that those guys are hard to find these days.
And they have gotten longer leashes.
There's a strike over the outside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike on Encarnacion, who was 0 for 3 on the night. Grimsley striking out Edmonds, then Roland. The Cardinals have complained about the strike zone of Marvin Hudson all night. And a high strike over the outside edge, and now Hudson stands with his hands on his hips looking at Encarnacion.
Sometimes when you're pitching and your teammates start having trouble with the home plate umpire, you go, oh, please, guys, come on. We got the lead. Just leave them alone. I'll take care of it from here.
Encarnacion fights it off as Grimsley is in a spot to strike out the side.
We talked about from the very first inning how it looked like it was a big strike zone. Then it tightened up a little bit. And it gets big again. Sinker.
And Grimsley strikes out the side in the 7th. Encarnacion 0 for 4 on the night. We go to the 8th. 2, 3, and 4 hitters coming up for the Diamondbacks. Flores continues to get ready out in the Cardinal bullpen. Cardinals up 5-2. Who's raising the bar? Tonight's singular wireless text message question was, what is the best division in baseball? And after texting the votes, the answer is the NL Central. That's the way you vote. Singular wireless raising the bar. And the NL Central getting the largest percentage of the vote. Thompson will stay in to try and retire the right-handed hitting Easley. And then Flores could take over here in the 8th. Cardinals lead it 5-2. Reaching for it. Good pitch. Thompson has done a very good job as he gets the lead man here in the 8th inning. These are big outs that Brad Thompson is picking up.
They're just so valuable because really look at them, most games are won and lost in the 7th and 8th inning.
Thompson has done his job. He has gone an inning and a third, all zeros. And Tony La Russa is going to go to his bullpen and call on Flores. So Randy will duck in here in the 8th inning. 1 out, nobody on. Cardinals up by. Cardinal fans, are you always traveling and missing games? Watching Cardinal games live online is the way to do it whenever you're away from home, exclusively from MLB.tv. STLCardinals.com has more live games than anyone else. STLCardinals.com, where baseball is always on. Here's Randy Flores taking over for Thompson, who was terrific in the 7th and here in the 8th.
Now, it's interesting. He made 6 appearances through the first 12 games of the season, and then has been used just 6 times in the next 23 games. But has got some more help down there, and Tyler Johnson. He's done an excellent job. Randy, who really had an outstanding season last year to really establish himself as a good left-handed and capable reliever.
Yeah, he really did, and I think it's easy to overlook the job he did, finally getting a chance. Cardinals handed him the ball 50 times, and he had a 3.5 ERA, a 3-1 record, and a save along the way as Braden Looper now cranks it up. That's a high strike on Chad Tracy, and he gets out of the batter's box. 0-2. That look right there on the face of Chad Tracy says it all. But hey, it's getting colder. Keep pumping that right arm.
Yeah, and
Marvin Hudson,
especially with a 3-run lead for the Cardinals.
Ball 1 now from Flores.
Cincinnati has lost their game to Philadelphia 8-4. So the Cardinals playing for a share of the National League Central lead.
A 1-2 pitch. They throw it around. They appeal, and yes, says the third base umpire, Mark Wegner. Tracy strikes out. Yadier Molina might have acted his way into that strikeout as you watch him throw down before they ever make the call.
Third base umpire, Mark Wegman. If I remember right, I liked his strike zone.
Well, you're not going to get to see it in this series.
No.
Here's Gonzalez, ball 1 low. 2 out, nobody on. Cardinals up by 3. On the inside corner, a ball and a strike.
Randy feels so much better about himself. He had a bone chip removed from his elbow in the offseason. Some guys will pitch with that for several years. It just kind of floats around. It doesn't bother him, and then all of a sudden it'll lodge in a spot and just start being like a nasty, nasty toothache.
Gonzalez golfs it into left center field, and it's Bigby to his left to make the play, and the Cardinal bullpen doing its usual great work again here tonight. Bottom of the 8th, Cardinals bat up by 3. Jack in the Box game recap. Mulder in line for the victory tonight if the bullpen can hang on. Pujols with an RBI single in the first. Already has 44 RBIs on the season. Home run hit by Burns to tie it, and then Edmonds put the Cardinals back out in front with a 2-run shot in the bottom of the 5th. Cardinals tacked on a run on an RBI force out hit into by John Rodriguez, and Casey Daigle will take over here in the bottom of the 8th with the bottom of the order coming up.
Just recalled from AAA Tucson on May the 2nd, his second stint with the ball club. And on the 4th, his wife Jenny, formerly known as her maiden name Finch, world-class softball player, pitcher. They had their first child, son named Ace, who entered the world on May the 4th. He started a game a couple years ago, and whether it's accurate or not, we said his wife had a better fastball than he did.
Here's Molina popping one into shallow right field for Sean Green. One out, and Molina will end the night 1 for 3. I could see Andre Agassi's kid being named Ace.
Yes.
Having a little more to do with
Ace Daigle.
With the sport of tennis, but I guess if you're a pitcher and you're Jenny Finch,
who was an ace.
She was an ace. Casey Daigle hopes to someday be an ace. They have their own little ace. Bottom of the 8th inning here, and with 1 out, nobody on, Aaron Miles is at the plate, takes a strike from Daigle. Jenny Finch is a very talented young girl. She was the host. I don't think she still is, but has been the host of This Week in Baseball.
Right.
Here's an 0-1. 1 ball, 1 strike on Miles, hitting .313. Aaron has reached base tonight. 0 for 3 on the night as Izzy gets loose for the Cardinals out in the bullpen. Cards up by 3 in the bottom of the 8th. 2-1.
Cubs lost 10-5 at home against San Diego. Pirates win big against Florida 12-9. Mentioned Cincy already lost. Houston winning big against Colorado late 8-1.
Here's a 2-1 to Miles. To the right side for Orlando Hudson. The base is empty. Larry Bigby will be the hitter. The Buck girls and Ellie George headed off to Build-A-Bear tonight to get their Redbird Build-A-Bear. This would be one of the few times at the ballpark where actually being inside the Redbird suit would be a benefit because it could keep you warm. It's a chilly night.
Since I was with Redbird all day today, 2 school appearances, and then he did a commercial. It may not be that pleasant inside that uniform.
Well,
but I knew your point well taken about staying warm.
yes. 0-1 the count with 2 out, nobody on. Bigby, last time up as a pinch hitter, got his first Cardinal hit. He's broken 2 bats tonight. He's 1 for 2, and that sends this game, first of 3 against Arizona, into the 9th inning. Izzy'll take over. Cardinals
Up tonight on the Busch Light Midwest Sports Report, post-game reaction from the Cardinal clubhouse. Tony La Russa live. Bernie Miklasz takes your phone calls. That and more following the game.
Tom Ackerman is in the fold now. The Fox Sports Net Midwest family grows. Every time I check in with you, Al, there's a new member of the cast and crew. I'm glad that Tom's part of it now.
Well, I'm glad certain people are still in their reliable spots, like Izzy. Picked up his 150th Cardinal save last time out. That was on Wednesday. His 10th save of the season. And he's retired 8 straight batters in his last 3 outings.
First pitch is up and in to Connor Jackson, who has 2 hits tonight, 2 for 3. Jackson, then Green, then Hudson. Cardinals lead by 3. They've never trailed in tonight's game. And the count goes to 2-0. If there's one thing that's been a nemesis for Isringhausen, it's been his control here at the start of the season.
It really has. A little bit of a mechanical flaw has been leaving his cutter out over the plate. But of late, he's been very good, including Tuesday night when he struck out the side, picking up a save.
Jackson will take on 3-0. It's a free pitch for Isringhausen. 3-1. Tell you, I think his stuff, his fastball, has been a lot better than it was at the beginning of the year. It's just that sinker that has not been sinking right.
Well, or sometimes he relies so much on his cutter that it takes away from the fastball. Here's a fastball.
And a walk. A leadoff walk here in the 9th inning. Cardinals crew starring Andy Bennis, who does a great job on the show, by the way, and Redbird is back on FSN. Tune in tomorrow at 11 a.m. Andy and Redbird bring you big league tips as well as other exciting Busch Stadium highlights. Cardinals crew tomorrow at 11 a.m. right here on FSN Midwest. They play behind Connor Jackson at first. And Sean Green takes the ball.
And out to talk to him a little bit, settle him down. Yeah, it's coming into this season. That was one thing you never really worried about, his command and control. But this year, it's been times where it's been quite a struggle.
Sean Green tonight is 0 for 3. Struck out 2 times and grounded out. There's a strike. Ball and a strike. There have been times that save he got when you guys were in Pittsburgh, and it looked like the lead was going to evaporate, and after getting into trouble he got right out of it to kind of get things going in the right direction. He had absolutely electrifying stuff. He started off this 9th inning by putting himself a little bit of a hole with that leadoff walk.
And when he gets 2 strikes, they go to the curveball.
Connor Jackson steals second as Sean Green strikes out. The Cardinals will take that trade. Out number 1 here in the 9th inning, and Green an 0 for 4 night with 3 strikeouts.
Well, it's a curveball, and this has been his big strikeout pitch of late. And that's all Molina wants to do is make sure the ball is down.
Here's Orlando Hudson.
This kid, you really like the way he plays defensively, don't you?
I really do. I've liked him since we saw him here a few years ago playing with Toronto during interleague play.
And I think they're happy with Troy Gloss.
Oh, well, he can just hit. He's got one of the prettiest. Most of the time you say a swing is pretty from the left side. He's got a pretty right-handed swing. Here's a 1-0 to Hudson. Diamondbacks are 1 base runner away from bringing up the tying run to the plate. Ball and a strike on Hudson. Roles are so much more defined now than they were at the start of the season. Izzy anchoring the back end of the bullpen, and he's 1-2 on Hudson. Remember the beginning of the year, you didn't know what you were going to get out of Wainwright. You didn't know what kind of a start Thompson would get off to. One-two pitch. Hudson strikes out. Good pitch. 2 down. Looper started off slowly, but this bullpen is a big weapon for Tony La Russa, the 2006 Cardinals.
See the last strikeout. Actually has as many strikeouts as walks now.
We'll have a pinch hitter here as Johnny Estrada will bat for Chris Snyder. Tony Clark, a big switch hitting first baseman, is on deck. Strike 1 from Izzy.
Estrada, the switch hitting catcher. Pretty good little hitter. Traded from Atlanta in exchange for Lance Cormier and Villarreal.
Line drive, base hit to right, and that will bring the tying run to the plate. And to score is Jackson, and a guy who can hit them a ton. Tony Clark will step in at the plate.
Tony really been struggling. He is. Take a look at the base hit. RBI, breaking ball. And with up by 3, you just don't want to put Encarnacion, doesn't want to allow Estrada to get into scoring position. So Dave Duncan out to talk to his battery. But do you believe Tony Clark, the pinch hitter, is big and strong, and he's definitely due 0 for his last 20.
At the start of that run, Clark was a guy who was mentioned as a possible pickup by the Cubs when they lost Derek Lee, their first baseman.
Clark led all big league pinch hitters with 15 RBIs, tied for the top spot in the majors with 3 pinch hit home runs a year ago. He's got 4 30 home run seasons in his career.
He can hit. He has been struggling, and he takes a strike. Former Detroit Tiger. The tying run at the plate, 5-3 here in the top of the ninth inning. One ball, one strike with Eric Burns, who's homered tonight, waiting on deck.
Tony led was the Player of the Year honors last year for them, the Good Guy Award. Cutter. This is one of the pitches he struggled with this year. The cutter.
Got that one in, and it's a 1-2 count.
It's a lot of times with a left-handed batter, we talk about how they're low, down and in hitters. So if you want to throw that cutter or slider to a left-hander, you elevate it a bit, get it up above their hands and lock them up. Since he had that one pitch coming in, opens up a lot of things. Fastball away.
And a little chopper out to second. Miles. Game over. Cardinals win it 5-3 as Izzy wraps it up. And Mulder gets the victory. He's 4-1 on the year. Good job by the Cardinal bullpen. And the Cardinals on this homestand have won 3, lost 1. With 2 to come against Arizona, and then a set next week with the New York Mets. Our Bud play of the game. The home run by Jim Edmonds to put the Cardinals back out in front. Bottom of the 5th, 393 feet later. The Cardinals led 4-2, and they won it 5-3. We will take a break, come back, and wrap it up. Cardinals win it 5-3, and they're 23-13 on this series against a very hot club coming in, the Arizona Diamondbacks. A final of 5-3 tonight. Beautiful evening, a little cool at the end of it, and the Cardinals win it a final of 5-3. Cardinal Baseball is produced by Bud Productions. It is an exclusive presentation of FSN Midwest. Our next game will be tomorrow night. Cardinals and Diamondbacks. Marquee will take them on 6 p.m. on WB11. Fox Sports Midwest Report is coming up right after this, after we say goodbye. There it is. The Midwest Sports Report is coming up. We'll be a part of that. 5-3 is the final. Good start to this series against the Diamondbacks. Stay tuned. Midwest Sports Report is now.